Good morning, everyone. I hope we're okay. Tuesday morning, I think. Yep. We're just gonna do a small little stream today. We're gonna record this for YouTube as well. Just gonna talk about game design. I'm gonna write a little adventure for playtesting. It might end up seeing the light of day, I don't know. And just generally hang out. If there's any questions in chat, I will try and answer them. And it's just a chilled affair, really. Hopefully my mic's okay. So I have an idea for a little adventure that's set out in the woods. Might be a bit weird, but this game is all about being a little bit weird. I think I'll start with this adventure, and we'll talk about general gamey stuff as we go, I think. No doubt, as I'm planning, core mechanics will come up, and some lore and things. I'm going to be including followers in this adventure, who are one of the main baddies in the system. They're sort of creatures, quote unquote, who hunt wanderers, because wanderers have very delicious souls. And followers, yes. They're basically... They look human. They're definitely not human anymore. But they're very good at siphoning soul off. And something wanderers themselves can do, but it is extremely frowned upon. Indeed, you even get this sort of icky aura around you once you start doing that, and you gain something called decay, which is maybe something we'll go into later. Basically, there's a trade-off for doing bad, evil things. So don't do that. So let's write an adventure. So this, we'll call it First Adventure, because we need a title. So, all adventures, basically, no matter if they're 1 session or 20 sessions, should follow the rough sort of 3-act rule, you probably or might have heard of before. So we need to sort of, in fact, I think I might have even written this in the book. Yeah, the 3 acts. So in the back of the book, or towards the back of the book, there is a whole section for marshals, i.e. our games masters, on how to run a game, how to write stories that are interesting, how to wrap up a story, again if it's 1 session or more, things like that. So we'll start with the conflict discovery and resolution. So when you're planning an adventure, and this goes for any game system where players and people are involved, you plan situations or encounters and not results, because players will not do what you expect them to do, no matter what you expect them to do. It's just the way it is. When you get a little bit more experienced, you can kind of gently guide, especially if it's a one-shot. But it's very important not to railroad, I think, and be able to think on the fly. So what these notes do is they just provide you a little framework on how to run a session. Let's sort of start padding this out. Use messaging me. How dare they? So conflict. It's gonna be players come across standing stones in the middle of a forest. Trees and plants. Aggressive, and try to prevent people. Try to prevent them entering the clearing. It's gonna be. Let's make it at night. We like spoopy night. Then you just need one more little trigger. I mean, the plants attacking is somewhat strange. You would have hoped that people would notice that. So yeah, little clues we can start dotting about the place. So there's going to be a few gravestones in the area. They seem old. There's going to be some tumble down ruins. Resolution. I was sort of hopping backwards and forwards a bit here, but honestly, this is how I write things. And then you sort of fill in the gaps, as it were. Resolution. I'm going to release the spirit of a, let's say, 400-year-old businessman. So they can also find some high quality Oh, lovely. Thank you everybody who's sharing my link. How tremendously professional of me. Right, high quality but sort of rotten furniture. Maybe 400 is too much. 200 years. And I think around the ruins, not the ruins, the standing stones. It's gonna be rusted, like plaques or notices, signs. Cool. So we're starting to build a picture of what look to be very ancient standing stones mixed in with more recent tumble down ruins, and something seems to have happened to the person who owned the ruins. He's doing something he should not, I imagine. Now, do we make the standing stones just standing stones, or do we want them to be mysterious and ghostly and fey and strange? Ooh, I think some sort of item that's haunted. It could be the businessman's wife that was made to come live out here in the wilderness. Ow. As you could tell, this is probably going to not be the happiest of adventures, but unfortunately a lot of the Wanderings Call adventures are, they're deep explorations of humanity. They're not all singing and dancing. They should be tense and fun and dramatic and atmospheric. But it seems like this businessman's probably not a very nice person, so he probably deserved to get trapped somehow. Morality. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Random Owl Encounter. What a very cool name. So if anybody in chat has any questions about this adventure I'm writing or the game system this is for, it's Kickstarting Now. I can't type Kickstarter into chat. There we go. So yeah, there's just a little insight into how my brain works and how I write adventures, because obviously this system needs playtesting. It's already had considerable playtesting, but yeah, there's no such thing as too much testing. I think we've got the mechanics, like the crunchy dice mechanics, I mean, pretty much there now. So this will be the sort of true test of that. It's like a full few hour adventure. Because at the start of playtesting, I think you can get a bit bogged down if you just go straight into playing an adventure. So what we did was I did little small encounters, and we've done just like fights that have no lead up, things like that, just to literally make sure the dice do as we think they're going to do. And then we started doing little sessions of just small storylines, see how everything flows together, to make sure like pacing and theme is like correct and right. So yeah, now we're moving on to like full blown, maybe even mini campaigns, to be honest. And yeah, it's been really cool actually doing all the playtesting, because we've had a couple of players who are brand new completely to tabletop role-playing games, as well as people who've only played one system maybe, and some people who are very, very experienced. It's really cool getting all the different opinions, different thoughts from people. So yeah, it's been very good. I wonder, can newspapers survive like a couple of 100 years if they're kept fairly dry? Probably. I might look into that. I'll put it down. Wrong section. Intact. Well, toppled over metal poles with loops. Built up plinths and podiums. Plinths. So we're starting to paint an idea of this place perhaps being discovered by this businessman / lord / rich person, and sort of turning it into an attraction. And perhaps something that was there before was not too happy about that. So they've cracked and crumbled. And then we're going to have, out from the trees comes someone with a terrible aura, huge grin on his toothy face. We'll say something like, honeypot seems to be working. The old fool is still useful after all. So there's a couple of layers to things going on. And the great thing is this bit could be totally optional. Depending on how quick or how quick you want the game or how long you've got. So yeah. So what this conflict means is that the first act, it's basically there is a status quo for the characters, and then something happens that disturbs that or flips that. The discovery part is the characters, players, figuring out what's going on and how to fix it, and then the resolution is hopefully returning to the same or a new status quo. 99% of all stories ever written follow this. 3 acts. Films, books, plays, yeah, everything. Even a lot of music does as well. There's also the 8-point plot arc as well, which sort of breaks this down even more. Let's see. Do we have something that shows that? Well, no, that's not the best one. Anyway. Oh yeah, there we go. Stasis, trigger, the quest, surprise, critical choice, climax, reversal, resolution. So things are normal, and the stasis, walking along merrily. The trigger, something happens to them to upset that. The quest is them trying to fix that, or get out of that, or discover something, a surprise, a reversal, a flip, something surprising happens to throw everything on its head, and then it comes to a point where the protagonist or the main characters have to make a decision one way or other, which leads to, this has been building up and building up all this time to the climax, which will hopefully lead to a reversal in fortunes that leads on to the resolution. That resolution could be everything is back to normal, or that resolution could be everything's back to a different normal. It could even be that the issue wasn't fixed, but you managed to get away from it, or things like that. So this is what most books, most stories follow this 8-point plot arc, and it works perfectly well for writing tabletop roleplay game adventures, either full campaigns or individual sessions. Really, really very useful. What am I doing? So, yes, a random owl encounter at the hero's journey. It's basically just a different way of placing that, of putting that. But that's a very good point. So yeah, this has worked. This sort of planning method has worked for all games I've run. D&D, lots and lots of D&D. Vampire games or World of Darkness. Fate, a couple of Fate adventures. Again, works perfect for that, and it works perfectly for Wandering's Call too. So, I think the trigger is going to be this. They suddenly get a branch swinging at their head because some powerful spirit in the area has gained control. Electric Fast definitely seem targeted. Yeah, so there's not just flailing wildly. They're actually the trees and maybe vines on the floor are definitely like following them and aiming for them. Nighttime. How do you then factor in the different abilities of the player characters? That is an excellent question. That is an excellent question. It depends, I will say, on the length of your session and if this is like a one-shot or a campaign and things like that. In Wandering's Call, it's a little smoother than things like D&D because everybody can do a little bit of everything. But yeah, when I would plan a session like this, that is just a session, this is just the rough outline, and then I mean I've experienced enough now that when we do get the characters, I can just sort of throw things in. But for a one shot, I just make sure there's a bit of everything, like in the planning stage. So So the chances of everyone being able to get involved in their own special way is higher. And again, this is quite an open, flexible system. So there are lots and lots of ways of doing things. And again, what I said at the start as well, is when you're planning, don't plan solutions, plan problems, and let the players figure out how to deal with it. I mean, having the back of your mind like ways in which they can do things, but don't plan for them, because players have a wonderful habit of just of doing things you don't expect, which is great. And I think if you plan too much, then you get sort of a bit tunnel visioned. Yeah, I hope that answers that question. That was a bit rambly. But yeah, if it was a longer campaign, then I would definitely, and I do definitely, plan in sessions that specifically will have a character in mind. Particularly if it's, because what I like to do is get players to give me some character backstory. Again, it just has to be like 1 or 2 bullet points. It doesn't have to be, and probably shouldn't be, like a 20-page essay. Some players like writing that, but I always ask, well, can you do like a few bullet points on the first page that sort of summarize it for me? 'Cause as much as I would like to, I can't read that much, especially if I have 6 players who all want to write 10 pages. And what I also like to do as well is ask players to come up with 2 rumours, one that is true and one that is false, and then I can then work those into sessions as well. But yeah, for something like this, which is a little one shot, just because it's a playtest, I try and add in just little bits of everything. Although saying that, again, I've run one shots where I've told the players, this is the situation that is going to happen, and then it's kind of up to them to make a character that would fit that. I am blessed to have some excellent players. So I think this is gonna come down here. So to make it so the players don't just like run away, because that's not a very interesting encounter, we'll make a ghostly light up ahead. Soft chiming occasionally. So a great thing about this system is if they do run away, because the wandering is a thing, i.e. this instinct that no one really knows where it comes from or why or how it happens, it would just draw them back again. But yeah, it's nice to just add a little bit more teasing. So the ghostly light is an old oil lamp that's somehow still glowing. With oil or gas, one of the two. Chiming is coming from inside the ruins of a large house. put in brackets as a note for later. It's like a servant's bell. And what would be really cool here when running this is, so I tend to have my phone or my laptop or a tablet with me to play little soundy bits. So just having a button I can just press every couple of minutes that just makes a soft ding in the background. That would be kind of spooky. So we're gonna split this up into zones. So we've got the house, ruins of the house. And we have, I'll just put it up here, standing stones. Gardens of the house. So as you can see, my planning style is not start, go through, end. It's think of a interesting conflict or a trigger. Think of an interesting resolution or reason for the trigger, and then just sort of build out the middle. Think about what clues I can put in to help the players figure out what's going on. If I just have a cool image that pops into my head of like the visuals, I'll write that down. I might not use that when I get to the game, but it's just nice to get all the stuff out of my head. Like this chiming. Like sometimes I would have just come up with that on the spot, but it just came to my head, so I might as well write it down. Like, don't let a good idea go to waste. If I don't use it this time, then it'll do for another session. A few gravestones. Not be bad, right? Make this seem very luxurious in its day. So extras. So I can use this. Maybe if the players are getting a bit stuck, maybe, or if we want a particularly high octane session, I can just at any point just sort of throw this in. The great thing about this is it makes the main encounter seem like more important, and that something definitely is going on because, well, an NPC has told you so. Well, they've told you without telling you, like exactly, obviously. It's a follower. Evil. Find evidence of old pathways. I just had an idea. Sorry, I just realised I went quite there. I don't think the standing stones are going to be important. I think a gas leak. Should stay. Closed his new attraction. This needs tweaking and working, but yeah, it's the start of an idea. Maybe murdered. That's not how you spell murdered. Murdered wife? Question mark. Wife haunted. He went even more mad. You get very recluse. Yeah. Refused any access by anyone. Fired his servants when he died. His reclusive soul remained forever out of the way and lonely. Okay. So this is plot. This is not necessarily the exact things that the players will find. So my task now is, because I think that's quite an interesting story, is to figure out how the players can uncover this. Again, I want to think of the clues I can drop, not the exact process that the players will undergo to figure this out. Because we don't want to railroad. Railroading is bad. Gentle guiding is fine. Railroading is bad. I think it's obvious from what I've got already that the standing stones have become a some sort of attraction. Let's move that out of there. Got rusted notices and signs. Long faded painted signs. I might actually make this a little more recent. Why am I using Bing? Good heavens. No. Oh, crikey, it's the 1950s. Did all of that. Today I learned. That is a lot more recent than I thought it would be. So yeah, that's good. Oh, that's streetlights. 1805, 1806. Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, so yeah, late 1800s seems like a very reasonable time for this. Good. So what we can do is... door archway still intact. Showing date 1859, sure. So that's what, 170. Sure. So then we want a diary. Is that too obvious? Maybe scraps of an obituary for his wife. Photos. $1826. Lovely jubbly. He was very rich, so I'm sure he could have afforded a photo or two. No. Thanks, Bing. Carbon monoxide gas explains the matter. Awesome. That does work. I'm glad. Yes, indeed. That and mercury poisoning. Random owl encounter. Carbon monoxide is thought to be behind a lot of hauntings. It sure is. In fact, I believe there was a Doctor Who episode along those lines. It is a little cliche, this idea, but cliches are fun and they're cliches for a reason, I say. Doctor Who, yes. Owl. It is a very cool name. Why random owl encounter? I mean, owls are very cool. I will grant you that. So the spirit can only manifest if they find his name. Every time I've encountered an owl, it has been fairly random, I'd say. Well, that's very true. Fair enough. There are an awful lot of people who have an animal in their Twitch handle, I have to say. I mean, I'm known as Turtle, like, on half the internet, so... like, in this suit... unbutton, loose tie, etc., etc. Things he can scream. Slash whale. The exhibit is closed. Oh, actually, start to see. In fact, the first thing that the players will come across will come across a very rusted metal sign that says closed. In the way would be rotten planks nailed to trees. Half attempts to block the way. There's nothing better for getting people to go in a direction than to put a slight block in the way. I'm sure there's some psychology behind that somewhere. So, do we have all the interesting things we need for all the different types of player? Is my next thoughts. So we've definitely got plenty of stuff for the kind of person who's sort of like digging around, finding clues, using sort of intelligence-based things. There's plenty of combat eventually towards the end. We've also got the extra bit of combat too. Socially stuff. Yeah, not so much socially stuff this time. We could maybe add... There's all pathways. There could be something to talk to, someone to talk to. We do more with the wife. Maybe we could do more with the wife. Maybe she isn't true. are chained, as we call them, i.e. some spirit that's haunting a thing. Maybe she's unchained. Where did I put there? I'm gonna get rid of that. Wife wandering around the gardens, sitting by an old fountain. So yeah, they can explore the gardens and we'll find her. Name. Someone give me an interesting Victorian woman's name. I need a man's name as well. Millicent. Lovely jubbly. Thank you. A random owl encounter. This, just another minor point as well. This is not the format I would use the notes in the session. I tend to, my preferred style is to go 2 columns. Tend to get a bit more on a page, and I will shrink the text a little bit as well. For now, let's do this. Gentleman's name. Godfrey. Yes. Need a posh sounding surname. Let's think. Type of tree. Is always a good one. Or a colour. Greensmead. Sure, it'll do for now. Have I tried using flow charts to help plot encounters or for use during gameplay? Certainly not anymore. The sort of way I lay this out is a little bit flowcharty, I guess, but no, not really. Do you have any examples that you've seen before? Random owl encounter. But my only thought with that would be is that they might lead you a little bit down a tunnel vision route. So it is best to kind of just have like the 3 sections. Like, this is how we'll start. This is the stuff that's in the middle that they can sort of bumble around in, and then like something that will trigger the resolution. And then it's kind of your skill as a games master. That, you know, and it's tough sometimes being a games master. Marshal, as we call them. It's just experience. Anybody can be a GM. I am very adamant that everybody has the skills to be a GM. It just takes a bit of practice. Oh, fair enough. well, yeah, there's like the 3 acts, 8-point plot arc, and the hero's journey. They're sort of the flowchart in the back of my mind. We'll get plot points. Very distracted and melancholy. Thank you, Google autocorrect. Destroying a decorative vase on a grave. So I've just put that in there as a way of like releasing her, but it's one of those things that if the players think of something fun or interesting in game that has the same effect, then sure, then well, why not let them? So yeah, I've put that in there just as a reminder to my brain that she can be released, and this is one way of doing it. So again, it depends on the group. If they're very new, then that note just helps me maybe gently guide them maybe towards the graves. You could describe that if you're like stood by her talking at the fountain. You could say to maybe the more sort of perceptive of the characters, like you sort of cast your eye over the dark garden and you see like shapes illuminated a few meters away that look like gravestones, for example. But if it's an experienced party, they might either ask like, what else can I see in the gardens, or yeah, that sort of stuff. Have we come across this kind of spirit before? But it's really good to not just say, right, the only way this spirit can be released is if this one particular vase on this one particular grave is destroyed. This can get quite, well, it can get very frustrating, I think, if you just can't figure out the puzzle. And as a GM, it's really easy to fall into the trap of like, you know the solution, so you start presuming everybody else does as well. And things that are obvious to you are very often not obvious to characters, the other player characters. So yeah, as I said, we plan problems, not solutions. That being said, like the final resolution, because of the nature of the system, this is a very, very powerful spirit that is sort of haunting a very large area. It's making like lights and dings and trees attack you, but in game your characters will know how to bring forth such a spirit. So they will know we need to find this guy's name. So hopefully they will then start to try and find clues. So maybe, I don't like this name. Greensmere, sure. Double barrel makes things sound posh, right? Greensmere. Oh, this is very important decisions. Oh, I can't Sure, that's kind of concerning that it knew how to autocorrect that. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, oh well, he's just being clever. I'm going to change that though. I'll probably change that by the time we play this. So, more clues, because we've got to have his name dotted somewhere. So, each page signed off with G.M. Actually, yeah, we. Oh, Greensbury is a golf and country club in Ontario. Very good. Definitely. Greensmere Bellers. Godfrey Greensmere Bellers. Very good. Today's news. On one of the gravestone of the wife, her full name, Millicent Rosemary Joy. What was it? Greensmere Bellows. Whoa. Oh, rather. Yes. This is a frightfully terrible situation. One's found oneself in. Again, these are all just ideas for my brain to remember. These aren't the only ways the players will be able to figure out these names, but it's a way. If they're spending a lot of time in another place, for example, maybe they're in the old ruined living room, and I'll decide to maybe on the back of the photo write a name just on the spot or something like that. Or we'll mention a Godfrey potentially. So we need stats, so we're gonna have an old sneaky peek at the book. Where is it? The left behind, unchained. So he is technically a siphon. I'm going to increase his social because, in fact, no, I'm going to leave that as it is. Obviously, he's rich and part of the landed gentry, but I think his madness probably has declined somewhat. 5. Make it quite tough. Yeah, I'm gonna increase his awareness because his whole thing is being a recluse, so he knows this area inside and out. So as he's now a spirit, he can just tell everything that's going on, basically, in his little haunted area. And then be hand to hand. We'll give him a +2, and ranged we'll give him a +3, so he can throw stuff around. Picking up like old kitchen knives that are sort of rusted into the kitchen and sort of flinging them across the house towards the party. I don't think we need to give him any more specialities. So we've got stats. I'll come up with follower stats later. Basically, followers are absolutely terrifying. I don't know if anybody's played Vampire the Masquerade, but when you're a vampire and you come across a werewolf, you run, basically. They're just far more powerful than you are. But a group of 4 or 5 of you, if you hope the follower isn't too strong, you might be able to take it down. Well, yeah, should be really... At this point, we should have the players going, oh, expletive. Good use of soul power. Soul power being the main currency you use to do all your important business as a wanderer. Called manifestations, i.e. the spells of this system. But yeah, we'll leave those stats for now. If anyone is interested, of course, in this, there's the link to the Kickstarter. There's loads more information on there. Obviously, if you want to pledge, that would be much appreciated as well. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of this system and the theme. Robin, my co-conspirator, is his idea, and we've just, hopefully taken it to the next level. Really, it was supposed to be like a short story or a play, but we were both massive TTRPG nerds, so we were like, we can make a game out of this. And then we've got the lovely Amy on board as well now, who's doing all the awesome artwork, and it's cool. Look for someone to camp, trees and plants. Well, stop fighting after a couple of blows, or if the party run away. Picture for his wife, yeah. So that looks abandoned with everything left in place. So it just looks like people just disappeared one day. So it's a gas lamp as well, we've decided. I do like the idea of the standing stones being a bit of a red herring. I think, ooh yeah, in the diary, it'll talk of being visited by the elves. They call him names. Do they? No. They offer him riches. Another reason why you might want to close this attraction. In a drawer. That was bell, high quality, broken furniture. Rough garden wall running through the trees, very overgrown. Inside the wall is less overgrown though. Again, make it seem strange that the overgrowth just reaches over the walls, but then this sort of wide area seems just like it was 100 and whatever years ago, 150 years ago. Only a few plants out of place. Excuse me. Good. It's a bit of fountain. Green Bellows, Millicent. So what I could do here is like draw this as a map for the table, so they can better visualize the setup. But what I tend to do is I just have a wipeable game mat and just use whiteboard pens and sketch it out. Big fan of theatre of the mind. But also a big fan of getting little minis. So either one works for this. Movement in this system is a little more freeform. You don't have like a speed per se, like in D&D for example. You basically go off your fitness score, and when you get into a combat situation or a conflict or other conflict situation, you have a number of zones you can move through. The fitter you are, the further you can run, for example. It's just, a way to not get bogged down in numbers. I've tried to make this system not rely on any maths whatsoever. I don't really think there is, actually. Unless you count like actually counting as maths. Yes. Tact is one word. What else can he be? Screamy / wailing. I should give clues. Begone before who scare the fair folk off. Stones must not be disturbed. This is my property. We shall have no visitors here. Yeah, I think that'll do. I'm sure we can make up plenty of things on the fly. Yeah, thank you for the follow. Is that Danube TV HD? What else? How to release. Again, these are just ideas on how to, make this spirit pass on until the to the next place that no one knows. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. So, the one way to release any spirit in this game is to defeat it in combat. That can either be a decent idea or a truly, utterly terrible idea. In this instance, it's probably somewhere in the middle. It will be a tough fight, but it's one way to do it. Oh, very good. The new TVHD. I'm just writing a little adventure to playtest the system that me and a couple of friends have written, currently on Kickstarter, called Wandering's Call. You play a person called a wanderer who has this sort of strange and mysterious instinct to wander, to move from place to place. It's an instinct you can't ignore. It brings you to places that get you into trouble. There's usually things that need solving there. And in this instance, it's a powerful spirit of an old dead businessman. And yeah, the goal is to release him so that you may carry on your way. Very rules light. Type thing. Yeah, nothing wrong with a D&D like using fantasy as a base. This system sort of started from a place of D&D being so rules heavy and there's numbers for everything and adding up stuff. I love D&D and I played D&D a lot. In fact, I played it on Sunday and will on Wednesday. But yeah, exactly. This is very RP focused. And the sort of magic quote unquote system is designed to be very flexible. You can quite literally do anything with it, providing you have the soul power. There are a couple of caveats to that, obviously. The two things you cannot change at all in the game is how time works and how gravity works. And I'm sure that list will get added to as we do more and more playtesting, but for now that seems to be the only like really sort of hard limit I'm imposing, just because time stuff is just confusing, and paradox is just bad, and yeah, gravity, yeah, I think there's more fun ways of figuring things out. Yeah, D&D is very RPG video game. D&D, when it first started, was purely all about numbers and rolling dice, and it was a war game with some RP sort of sprinkled around it. Yeah, that'd be cool. More systems is more good, I think. So it could be defeated in combat. Think of a couple of items that could be still in the house. In fact, releasing the wife. Wife will make it easier. So get rid of that tether. Yeah, I totally get that. The noob, it very much feels like, yeah, two games. I'm also not a massive fan of things like God, my brain's just gone blank. Like charisma in a game. I think charisma should be dealt more with like role playing. Again, that's just how I feel. I know there's a lot of players out there who don't like playing in like first person, and that's absolutely totally fine. There's no right way, I don't think, to play an RP game. But yeah, I think it helps get in the mind of that character if you don't rely on like a dice for knowing what to say in the right situation all the time. Not him, not it. What else? Could the yeah, interfering with the standing stones. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Yeah, if you don't want to think about it in first person, you can say like, my character would think about this, or I want to take this approach, and then roll. And yeah, random owl encounter. That's probably the main reason. Is on certain shows I've watched on the internet, the players say the most absolute perfect thing. Yeah, exactly. Like really impressive argument. They've said exactly what their character would say, and it's the perfect thing for the NPC or whatever to hear. But you're still made to roll like a persuasion check or whatever, and you roll low. It's like, that doesn't really make sense. I'd say that's It's not bad GMing by any means, but I don't think the rules of certain systems help with that. Yeah, a lot of in the rules of D&D 5e there are rules for like passive skills. They don't get used often enough, I think. Like passive insight, for example, is another really good one people should use. Yeah, don't get me started on insight checks though. To the spirit, no more elves will come through. It's no longer wounded by madness. Explain the gas. So yeah, again, these are just kind of ideas that I've thought of that might help get rid of this spirit. I'm sure my players will come up with something clever or bonkers or both, and they will absolutely help as well. Just what was it? A couple of playtest sessions ago, one of the players brought up the spirit they were talking to's wife, and it turned out she'd left him, so that just made him even more angry. So yeah, consequences. That was a real sad session. That was such a good session, but that tugged on the heartstrings. Did that one? It was so good. It was only a playtest session as well, so it was a bit kind of. It wasn't really like a huge amount of setup or whatever, but yeah, we really got into it. And, poor Skunky is all I will say on that one. I'm not going to say any more because that adventure is actually being developed into a full thing to include in the book. So cool. The other way to release a spirit from being trapped is to completely destroy the area in which they are haunting, but that might be quite difficult unless you want to burn down a whole forest. I mean, I won't put it past people, but that'll do for ideas. Again, in case I have a brain freeze and can't think of what the spirit might be saying, I've got just a few things here. This is the kind of only fixed bit that they need to find his name, but again, as players and their characters, they will know that, so that to me is not really a barrier to progression. Stones. Another way, bitter, definitely bitter. No Oxford commas, thank you very much. We'll look. Well, look very gaunt, as if starved, because the upper classes at that time, I'm not sure he would really be able to fend for himself for all too long. Good. I think that is kind of all I would need for a... Well, although I need for a session is a little bit more than what I would normally write, but I think it's nice for you guys to see what goes on in the background. And who knows, maybe this adventure will make it onto the internet someday for you all to play. You're very welcome. Have you ever been a GM, a whole encounter? Because I highly recommend it. Yeah, here the gardens. I've not put any description. I don't need me personally now. I don't need that. I'll just make up some description when we get to that part. If we get to that part, they might not decide to go around the back to the garden. So I'm not going to spend hours thinking of like how the flower beds are laid out if they never want to go there. Again, I've not explained how the standing stones look. I'll think of something. A number of stones, a few stood up, a few laid down. Maybe there's a ring of mushrooms even, the old-fashioned fairy ring. I just want to look up how long paper would last. Oh, the great thing about an area being haunted by a chained door, unchained, or siphon, or anything really, is that you can kind of bend the rules of like decay and time. Because why not? It's closed. I was wondering if there needs to be any more clues. They'll probably find more signs or something. So yeah, no, I think that's a fun little adventure. That should be a 3-hour, maybe 3-hour session. It has a nice mix of combat, hopefully a little bit of social with the ghostly wife. Maybe they can even try and convince the guy ghost to talk to them. A little bit of investigation, putting two and two together. Good. And then there's that spicy little bit we can throw in at the end, or at any point as well, with the follower. And a resolution. Some stats. They're the kind of useful bits I always put in notes, because pausing the game to find a book to dig out a monster stat or whatever is just breaks the flow of the game. Cool. Well, yeah, I hope that was interesting. As I say, this game is on Kickstarter now. It's going really well. Target's almost been met. And yeah, we just want to bring this world and this game to you all. It's a D6 system. I don't think I've mentioned that yet this stream. Really approachable, like mechanics. Really chuffed with those. Many a spreadsheet used to figure them out. But the hard work's for me to do and not for the players. So, yay statistics. Yep, the VOD will be on our YouTube page, YouTube channel rather. Charging Badger, nice to see you again, by the way. And yeah, just find us on social. If you just put Wandering's Call into YouTube, you'll find us. And on all the social media platforms, apart from Twitter, or whatever the heck it's called now. Yeah. Is there any questions from chat at all? Any more questions from chat? Ooh, gonna cough. Excuse me. Cool. Right. I'm going to leave this stream here. Thank you so much for watching and joining. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Random Owl. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm sure we'll do more of these types of streams where we just sort of chill out and I write stuff and I'll answer some questions that anybody has. Yeah, thank you, Badger. Thank you. Might do a math stream at some point. Let's roll some dice. That'll be a fun one. We'll talk about probabilities and how to use factorials and all that nonsense. But yeah, for now, that's it from me. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you later.